And we want to just share with them from a local's perspective, how do you dig into this low country lifestyle and live it to the fullest? So
from people that are true locals, if your favorite spots on the island, like if you were to say,
restaurants,
restaurants, things to do.
And it ended up being like the best thing that ever happened to me. Being able to be outside 12 months out of the year. There's a great sense of community here.
You've grown up here. You both moved away, right? But you came back. So let's talk about that a little bit. Welcome to Real Talk Hilton Head with David and Dale Cross, the real estate lifestyle podcast of Coastal Carolina.
Join us as we share stories from our community, insight into the local lifestyle, and the real scoop on real estate.
From market trends to home design, we dive deep into what it means to live and thrive here.
Discover the state of mind and philosophy of the Low Country that enriches life through personal growth, health and wellness, and human connection.
Whether you're a local or thinking of becoming one, we're here to guide you through the ins and outs of living this coastal escape.
Tune in, relax, and enjoy the conversation with Real Talk Hilton Head,
the podcast of Coastal Carolina.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Real Talk Hilton Head. We're your hosts, David and Dale Cross. Today we're diving deep into the vibrant lifestyle of the Low Country of South Carolina, focusing on the unique experiences of those who have grown up here and are now calling it home as adults, raising families and building businesses.
Today, our first guest is Billy Schilling, a true island native whose family has a long and storied history here on Hilton Head Island. Billy's grandfather built the iconic Skull Creek Boathouse and restaurant, which is a beloved landmark known to locals and tourists alike. Billy continues his family legacy by working on the island while also running a startup photography and art business and actively engaging in the community through coaching and various other sports teams.
Joining Billy is Ali Roberts, who moved to the island at a young age and grew up immersed in the Low Country lifestyle. After leaving for college, Ali returned to Hilton Head to raise her family and embark on her entrepreneurial journey. Together with her husband, she owns a local surf shop, contributing to the island's economy and community.
And in this episode, Billy and Ali will share their unique perspectives on growing up on Hilton Head Island, what brought them back after college, and how they balance their entrepreneurial endeavors with family life. Their stories offer a captivating glimpse into the rich, dynamic lifestyle of the Low Country.
So sit back, relax, and join us as we explore the lives and experiences of two remarkable individuals who truly embody the spirit of Hilton Head Island. Remember, just breathe, relax, be yourself. We're just hanging out. Don't worry.
Pretend like we just did the intro, blah, 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 da, 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 da. These are great guests. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Thanks for having us. Thanks so much for joining us and coming to share your experience, your childhood here on the island. We're super excited to have you guys.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. And just to reiterate, right? So this is for the audience out there who are either thinking about coming here, right? And what's life like here. And the show too is about, for those who have already come here, right? And they really haven't had that immersion yet, right? They're still kind of doing what they've always done. And we want to just share with them from a local's perspective, how do you dig into this low country lifestyle and live it to the fullest? So
from people that are true locals. I mean, we're local, but we've only been here X amount of years, where you guys have been born and raised, and that's really cool to us.
That's a great first question. How long do you have to be here to be a local?
I would say
that.
I'll let you go on that.
Say 20 years or more, but then that's a little aggressive, right? Maybe 10.
Yeah.
We'll give it 10.
How about say being born? No, I'm just kidding.
But do you know, how many people do you know that have been here? Like, so the island, realistically became residential, in the 70s?
70s is kind of, when everything was booming here. Yeah.
Oh, what was booming?
I think it's like all the construction, you started seeing obviously Sea Pines was the first, to start there.
Yeah.
And then everywhere else started growing outside of that.
Yeah.
We started seeing a lot more businesses pop up and things like that.
So how many people do you know from that era? Do you know anybody here from that era?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Still, I mean, there's still a decent bit, or I've always had friends that have left and they end up coming back,
And we're going to definitely
Yeah, that?
Yeah. I can probably think of a good handful of people that are still here
From the 70s.
Yeah, my in-laws moved here in 78.
Okay.
Wow. And they're still
Wow.
booming
Yeah, and they're still
business.
here. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys are officially locals. We're trying. We're hanging in there. So I guess let's start off with, we want to go into a little bit about growing up in Hilton Head, personal experiences. So I don't care who starts or how you guys want to go, but really dive in. Tell us a little bit about your childhood on the island. And, for our kids, one of the biggest concerns we have, coming from Charlotte, big Charlotte,
Yeah.
the little Hilton Head, would they be like, oh my gosh, I hate it. It's so boring. But what was it like for you?
Let's start with that.
So I moved here from DC when I was 13.
Mm.
My husband was obviously born here. And coming here from there, I was, a teenager, and you're worried and you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And it ended up being like the best thing that ever happened to me. Being able to be outside 12 months out of the year. There's a great sense of community here. I think that schools are wonderful. We had a great go of it at Hilton Head High School. It was wonderful. It was a great
Because you went
experience.
to high school together.
We
right?
did,
So
yeah.
you guys know each other from
Yeah.
childhood.
How many were in your class out of curiosity at that time?
We were actually there when Bluffton was coming to school on the island. So we actually had big travel. Yeah.
Except Bluffton was Buffalo.
There was no school in
There was
Boston.
no school yet. So my senior year, your junior year,
Yeah.
I think my graduating class was, I think we were close to like 450.
Yeah, it was big.
It was big.
Big
class.
school,
It was
yeah.
big.
Yeah, but I think over 2,000.
Yeah, in the school.
Students.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, it's funny because Asher, he's a freshman. Well, he's going to be a sophomore. You're an engineer.
You can't cry.
It's okay.
Start
But
again.
like other shows have the engineer, but you don't have a mic, so we'll have to bring a mic in there.
Keep me.
But their class is like 450,
Oh, is it?
Okay.
So it's back
and
up.
that's just Hilton Head. So
That
no longer
shows-
Bluffton.
Yeah.
That shows how much it's grown.
And there's still what, 2 other schools on the island?
Yeah. I didn't even think of that. Heritage
Yeah.
and Island Academy and
Yeah.
yeah. So anyways, finish back. So growing up,
When you were 13,
Yes.
what kind of outdoor stuff did you do? When you said,
I got involved in the crew team,
okay.
which was great.
really,
Also, Billy played lacrosse, and I was the lacrosse manager, so I did all the stats.
Nice.
So it was great, but the crew was really my introduction to the low country life. Being in the water every day, and
So the crew is sailing or rowing?
that was rowing.
Rowing. Okay.
I didn't know anything, and this sounds stupid, but coming from a city, I knew nothing about the tides or, any of that stuff. So it was really neat for me to get into the water every single afternoon, just be a part of it, figure out the local waterways. That was probably my best introduction to Hilton Head, I would say, was rowing crew. It was great.
if I can stay on this subject, because I think that's a very important thing, because we talk about this, especially with our clients, because I always try to say to them, like, if you don't like the water, the low country really isn't a place for you, because that's like, until, like you said, like the tides, you don't recognize like having such high tides in the marsh, the life that's in there, and
Mhm.
just everything that it brings. So the water is central, isn't it, to life?
To life here.
Yeah, that's everything.
It's cool too, because it changes every day. It's not the same every time you go back. Even if you go to the same spot, there's always something new or different. The wildlife's different. It works around it and stuff. So I think that makes it, kind of interesting too.
Yeah.
And don't we have huge tide swings too?
Very big, yeah. Like
Yeah,
6 to
very big.
8 on average. I think it's like above 8 this right now with the full moon.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. When we do have a full moon, we know the water's coming right up
Oh,
to
yeah.
the bridge.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're like, is it going to stop? Because everything's, especially like Picnic Island. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think it's funny you say that too, Billy, because I'm an ocean guy, right? And I
Mhm.
need the beach. And that's the first thing I noticed was like the ocean every day looked different.
Yeah.
It was flat one day.
Yep.
It looks really wild one day,
Mhm.
and that was the coolest thing. We have a saying, it's like never gets old, because it's always different, So what about you, Billy? Tell us about your childhood, I know your grandfather, we're going to touch on this, but you
Yeah.
have a long history here.
Hmm. Yeah, they came here about the same time, about the late 70s, early 80s. And, again, saw the potential of the island, how beautiful it was, and possibilities they had here. My family's kind of always been into the boating industry, so they started the boathouse, which is now Skull Creek Boathouse. They started that marina and had the restaurant. It was kind of a family run thing. So yeah, I was spoiled. I grew up there, just in like the tackle shop, and was like a dock hand as a kid. So
You told us we used to drive those big old, pick up the boats.
yeah, I ended up doing that at some point. Yeah, I was probably like 13 or 14 years old. Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our 15-year-old would never be doing that. Not without an up-to-date insurance policy.
Yeah.
That was what you did from day to day, was just being on
Yeah.
the water with the.
I know, like thinking back, like I just remember being a kid, just always being outside, like she was saying, and it's just like I remember selling pinfish and fiddler crabs out at the dock,
Really?
just like hanging out, finding something to do, or just being out on the boat or.
What age did you start driving boats?
I remember I got this funny story, I guess. I think I was about, what was it, 13, I think you were allowed to. You had to take the boater's, safety course license, which I think everybody should take around here anyways.
I agree.
But,
Yeah.
I think it was 13. I had an old like aluminum duck boat that I took, and at the time we lived in Buckingham, which is like right off the island.
Okay.
I remember taking it from the boathouse to there, and I got pulled over first time because I looked like a little kid. Yeah, we didn't have like
Was it the
cell
Coast Guard
phones
or
and stuff, yeah, or no, it was DNR.
Okay.
Just had to check me out, made sure I had on my life vest and whistles and all that stuff, but
Oh my gosh.
stressed
You
me
were
out. But yeah,
petrified.
my dad's gonna kill me.
What's funny though, these
That was
waters
awesome.
are treacherous because
Oh, yeah.
I'm used to boating on like the lake up in Charlotte. Like, you can stop in the middle of Lake Wiley and don't go anywhere for 3 hours.
Mhm.
You stop here and you're ended up in Savannah.
Oh yeah,
No.
Pulling that boat back.
absolutely.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're new to boating here, definitely go out a few times with somebody that knows the area, because you don't see the sandbars that are there, and at the different tides, it can be tricky. And they change too, because the current's so strong through here.
Yeah.
You'll get a sandbar that wasn't there a couple months ago,
Yeah.
Just gonna have to figure it out.
To know. I mean, I didn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because they're so strong, they've changed where the sandbars are.
A little bit, yeah.
It's funny. Do you remember that time we went out with the Tysons? We just joined the boat club, right? We're all excited, and we take some friends out. And Ashley's like, "Can I drive?" We're like, "Sure." And I'm sitting there chatting with. Next thing you know, no,
There you go.
it looks like there was water there.
Yeah.
Over there.
There's a sandbar,
Yeah.
and we had to push that boat. I know. He's like, "Why, Dad?"
I took this too.
But now, so I do want to touch on this too. For a lot of people, especially for the folks who are thinking about Florida, because we get calls all the time. They're like, "I'm looking anywhere from Wilmington all the way down to Naples."
I thought Florida was full. That's why everyone's coming here.
We call them halfbackers.
Yeah.
They're the ones who went there and they're like, "This
So
isn't for me."
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you've lived in Florida.
we did. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So I would love to touch it because you both said it, the 12-month lifestyle.
Yeah.
And a lot of people from the north being from the north, 4 seasons, if you had it in DC.
Yeah.
Let's touch on that a little bit about the seasonality and because it is pleasant, but from your take on it, what would you say to somebody who's struggling with the change of seasons and also, but still being able to be outside for 12 months?
There's a lot to be said for being able to be outside all the time.
Yeah.
I would say January is our coldest month.
Right.
Even then, we're in the 40s. It's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
you're not shoveling snow.
Yeah.
You're not waiting for them to salt the roads. It's a very pleasant way of living.
Yeah.
I just, for our family, we're very active and we're always outside. I can't imagine being up north and just not having that option every day to hop on my bike or go for a quick surf or so that's really important. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons that we like being here. Florida was hot
Yeah.
and it
Hot
was,
for a much longer period.
yes.
Too, right?
and here, I always tell people my favorite months are May and October.
Yes.
I think those are the best
October's-
months here.
Amen.
Amen to that.
But even outside of that, it's still so pleasant.
We
So
really get 2 months of really hot weather, right? July
Yeah.
and August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I would say August is definitely the the hot.
How does it compare to
Island.
Florida then? Do you think our hot is the same as Florida hot, like August to August? Do you think it's
I think we're lucky though that we're actually on an island, 'cause there's always that breeze.
true?
Like you step into, Bluffton and stuff, it gets a little sticky,
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
savannas can be brutal at times.
Yeah.
And it's funny, you always joke and look at the radar, it's like 50-60% chance every single day, but it never rains.
Yeah.
That's true.
It might rain on the north end a little bit.
Yeah.
South end's good though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that little breeze, that helps.
Craziest thing that I ever saw one day, talking about the raining on the north end to the south end,
Yeah.
literally coming over the Cross Island. I started coming over, it was not raining. By the end of the Cross Island,
See
it
it,
was
yeah.
raining. You could clearly see that
Yeah, it's wild.
delineation.
Yeah.
It's how that
Mhm.
happens. So when we do go from end to end, right? Is it raining
Yeah.
on the north end?
Yeah.
Is it raining?
Yes. No
Yeah.
joke.
But that's all to do with the weather, right?
Yeah.
So, what are your favorite spots? Like, all right, growing up here, was the first thing I didn't realize when I moved here was how big this place really is.
Yeah.
You go to Edisto Beach, let's say, right? It's this little sliver.
Mhm.
You can golf cart around, you're like seeing the whole thing. Here, because most of the communities are behind the gates. Was it like that too growing up? Or because most of these communities weren't there, were they?
The major ones were,
What were here when you were growing?
I mean, we had Palmetto Dunes, Shipyard, all the
Hilton Head
major,
Plantation.
Hilton Head
Yeah.
Plantation,
Okay.
all of those things. I would say now there's definitely a lot more gated communities than there were before.
Really?
Like the little pop-up, like
Yeah, like-
pocket communities, I call them, with like, I don't know, 20 to maybe 100 homes or so.
Yeah.
So that's changed.
That's what's been.
I think it's good too, like on a real estate standpoint, there was, just when we were looking to buy here, it changed a lot because there was so many older homes here, that were very highly priced because that was all that we had to choose from, from these old neighborhoods that have been here forever.
Yeah.
So I think it's helped the market a little bit, being that there's some newer developments that are, helping with the prices a little bit.
Yeah. Because it is.
Great point.
Yeah.
Now, growing up, what were the prices like out of curiosity? I'm just curious because, now they're
It was
crazy.
very reasonable.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, you would look, because everything's relative. Like back then, everything, was a lot cheaper too. So,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
but you didn't have any options. Like we're looking at houses that were built in the 70s, and that was our only options.
Yeah.
That were in a price range as like a new home buyer.
Yeah.
And I heard somebody say that the town of Hilton Head didn't have like a building code enforcement until like the 80s. Is that right?
Wow.
It was right, yeah.
Well, you have a construction, yeah. Mine, nothing prior to this.
Yeah, it's funny because you will see a handful of homes that we've noticed that are really, really tall. And we're like, how did they do that? And we're like,
Prior to the code.
that was for the code. So
Well, let's talk about the codes. Why were they brought into place? Obviously, we know for safety, but doesn't Hilton Head have strict rules on how we want the island to appear?
Yeah.
Can we talk to that a little bit?
yeah,
Has it always been like
I
that?
think
Yeah.
it has. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
the town does a really good job preserving the nature here.
Okay.
I mean,
And that's
if we don't,
key,
that's
right?
that's what we love about it, right?
Yeah.
And the Low Country in itself is such a unique place geographically. I mean, I don't know a lot of places. I've been to a lot of different places, and just something about those marshes and beautiful oaks, Spanish moss, and it's really beautiful, and they want to keep. So it is important, and I think they do a great job of preserving it.
I
So
do too.
Yeah.
I remember that when we first moved here, it's like trying to find the Walmart. It's like, everywhere else you live, the Walmart's like right there. And you're like, you got to be around here.
yeah,
Story about that. Had been here at least 2 years, and we were by the Publix, and someone stopped us and said, "Hey, where's the Walgreens?" And we looked at each other and we were like, "Walgreens?" He was like, "No, it's here on the map." We were like, "It was
I
literally
remember looking at it going,
feet away from us."
that's over there somewhere. And then,
There was a whole shopping with Barnes and Nobles. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had no idea Barnes and Noble was there. It's okay.
He's hiding, yeah.
that's how it's hidden.
Yeah,
So,
that's, I think because some people get them frustrated, but I'm like, you're not missing any, because that's the other thing. Did you feel like you missed anything growing up, like that you didn't get from, because obviously where did you go? Like Savannah for,
Well, yeah, I was just thinking of that. It's like, the change that I've seen here, I think's been good. You know, again, the island's done a good job of like protecting it and like not letting it be overbuilt, you know, to where it gets like too much, you know. But yeah, I do remember growing up, it's like we needed a baseball glove, we had to go to Savannah for it.
Wow.
You know, and so that's been nice that there's like some bigger, you know, businesses and stuff here.
Yeah.
Like everything's really here. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
That's where you would go, was Savannah
Yeah.
to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So what was how long did it take? Because so 278 wasn't here then when you guys were growing up.
I mean, it was, yeah.
Was the Cross Island was built in 97? Yeah.
Okay.
1997, the Cross Island was built.
Really?
Prior to that, you had to drive. If you were going north or south, you had to go.
You know, like, oh, you're going all the way there. Serious?
Say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to plantation.
So going off island was like, you know, it's like,
Yeah, get your passport
Yeah.
over there.
That you said that because when we first got here, you end up just staying. You tend not to go across the bridge because you're just happy in this area.
Yeah.
There'll be months we'll look at each other. Obviously, David has to go a lot for clients, but he could be here for a month or two and not leave the bridge unless I need
well,
to.
when we first moved here and I didn't have any clients. I mean, I don't think I left the plantation for like 2 weeks, you know, go outside Harris Teeter and come back in.
Yep.
That was my life.
To because of the amenities and like we've been talking, the lifestyle, you have everything you need.
Absolutely.
You know, the bypass and all of that.
Yeah.
You know,
So what were your favorite places go? Like when you were kids,
yeah.
what did you love? Where did you love to go? Like what was your place that you're like, oh my gosh, I love being here? Was it a beach, a hiding spot, a fishing spot?
Probably the sandbar.
The sand.
Yeah.
Really?
Less about the sandbar.
I mean, the sandbars now is a much bigger deal. You know, you get people from Savannah, all over Beaufort I've seen there, like just, you know, piling their boats on. But it was like a different alternative than the beach. And I'm a big boat guy, so it was like you had to take the boat to get there.
Yeah.
So I loved that as a kid.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit more what it is for
So it's down.
And we're going to overlay,
Yeah.
just so you know, on the video side of it, you know, for the audio side, explain it, but for the video side, we'll overlay it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, the sandbar is just a spit of sand right down the May River. It's kind of right across from Palmetto Bluff.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's a great little boat ride. It's fun. You usually have a little boat ride to get there.
Yeah.
You know, you stop off. It's funny. I remember I have a vivid memory of my dad bringing a generator there for his blender. Yeah. I came across, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That's just,
They were bringing their TV out. There must have been a football game or something.
yeah.
The bunny ears. Yeah, you know.
talked about outdoor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, you only have like an hour and a half, 2 hour window with it, right?
Yeah, if you play it right, you know, we got a good tide, like right now with the, you know, the full moon and stuff, you get a couple more hours you can squeeze in.
Yeah.
You know, there's been days.
Stuck on purpose.
Yeah.
Have to go home. Stay out long.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Wait, the tide comes around, right?
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, well, that's one of I remember hearing about it forever, and it was like this mysterious place. Then finally we went. I'm like, oh my god, I get it.
Window.
Like,
we
you know,
can-
yeah, that's fun. What about you, Allie? Where was your favorite?
Two different spots. For me, Pinckney Island. Walking over there. And I do it all the time still.
Yeah.
The other thing is we lived in Sea Pines my last 2 years of high school. And so I was in the forest preserve every single day.
Really?
I walked around the forest preserve all the time. I loved it in there. I still love it. I take my dog in there all the time.
What is it about the?
I think it's quiet there,
It is.
you know, and you see all different types of birds and you see tons of gators. And I mean, it's very serene and lovely. And also with, you know, my business and my job, I'm talking to people all day long,
Yes.
which is great, but sometimes you just need to shut off.
Yeah.
And even as a teenager, it's like, you know, you're in school and you're having to study and, you know, manage your friendships and all this stuff. And so for me, it was just always a place of peace.
Mm.
And so those are two spots I just love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to second that. I mean, we both love both of those. It's so funny. We had a guest on a previous episode, and she works with energy work, and she was telling us that we were like, "What is it about the area?" And apparently, Hilton Head is on a specific meridian, she called it, or a specific spot on the earth where it is a a very special frequency for those types of things.
Yeah.
Where literally the whole forest, everything, the wildlife
Yeah.
is just, it feeds the
Yeah.
soul,
Yep.
and that's cool. So you were young doing that though, huh?
Yeah, I was probably 15 when I started doing that. I just walk around the woods.
That's great. That's great.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. So go ahead. Were you going to say something?
I did want to ask you, like, how the island shaped your sense of community. And
Yeah, because you mentioned that about the community.
yeah.
So, what I love is there's a lot of families here now, which is great. A lot of young families, which is a nice sense of community for the kids and for the parents.
Yeah.
You know, we become good friends because of our children. It's so
Yeah.
nice.
Yep.
Yep.
And what I love, if I could say something,
Yeah.
we have an age gap, a pretty significant one.
Yep.
But I love it because it's like,
You do, not me.
yeah, I know. Yeah. All right, it is what it is. But I appreciate it because I feel like it is because of that, the area, and then the kids, and obviously it's just the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like the Island Rec, they do a great job of hosting all these events and doing all these fun things to get people together. So I think it's really important when people move here to, go on the town website, look up all the different events, try to get involved. That's a great way to meet people, get out, see new spots you haven't seen before. And also there's a lot of wonderful charities on the island.
Yeah.
Nonprofits that are just lovely. I work with one, and
Tell us about that one, because I know which
Pockets Full of Sunshine. Yep. So it gives special needs adults a place to have a job, have a sense of community, have friendships, because they graduate high school at 21, and then after that, there's nowhere for them to go.
Yeah.
So some really lovely people started this, and I got involved a couple years ago, and it's great because over the past, 5-6 years, they just keep pulling in more and more volunteers and more businesses, supporting and helping. So there's a lot of good charities here too. So that's very good sense of community, and the kids get involved too. That's the best thing about
Shiloh
it.
School goes all the time.
Yes.
What time
Yes.
to hang out with.
Yep. It's lovely.
Yeah.
So
But and I
good.
just think I love how the businesses do support each other, and I think that's a
Mhm.
key thing. And we'll dive into this with both
Absolutely.
of you being entrepreneurs here on the island. Is that the locals like to support local business? That community is very, very strong.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's very important.
What about you, Billy? What's your sense of how has it shaped you? Do you feel like it's made you who you are today?
Yeah, and I mean, now that I think about it too, it's like I remember again going back to the boathouse growing up. I remember, we'd always do, we call it not a cookout, but like we get a bum barrel out, in the wintertime, and just like all the clients and stuff that kept their boats there would go hang out and just have a cookout and oyster roast or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's something I always remember as a kid. So it's like I do that at work, from time to time. We'll get a get together, or like, on our baseball team, we always try to do like a get together and things like that. So I've always kind of felt that community feel, not just like within my little community, but like outside of it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we felt that right off the bat too. Because at first, now let me ask you this though: do you feel like with outsiders, being that you're from the island, do you feel like is it harder to connect with outsiders in the sense of because we have so many visitors, you have so many people. Do you feel a little guarded sometimes, maybe?
I'm gonna say yes, like not in a bad,
Not in a bad way.
yeah.
Yeah.
When you guys first moved here, I had to feel you out for, a couple times.
Not that I've never said that. I'm feeling myself. That doesn't sound right. Edit that.
But now, I mean,
I could see that.
yeah.
That's a special place, and in a way, you're kind of.
There is part of me that's like, all right, no more people here. It's like, I totally get it. Like, I would want you, I would want to come down too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think raising children, if we speak to younger families, the whole reason we moved was for the children,
Yeah.
because it's such a special place to raise them. It's like a little cocoon. I mean, we were in Charlotte, and it's obviously bigger. It's very difficult to connect connect with community.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing I really appreciate about our families is I'm excited to watch these boys grow together.
Yeah.
We have boys the same age, and to see them go from one sport to another sport together,
Yeah.
and
It's like a big herd. You just go.
they
Yeah.
move,
Sure do.
But I think that's true too. I would say we were in Charlotte for 10 years and we had a pretty wide network.
Yeah.
But I feel like the network here, I feel it more.
There's a depth to it.
Yes.
Yeah. And like I've coached different sports and stuff for the kids, and it's like I'll see the same kid, and you might not see that, I guess, in a bigger area. I'll see that same kid at a different sport.
That's right.
Whereas you might have a kid for 1 year, you never see him, but he still lives, 30 minutes away or something.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I do see a lot of these, kids growing up together, which is cool.
I love how they'll be on the same team in one sport, and then like 2 days later they're on a different team. Teammates there, rivalry there.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch. It's fun
And
to
I
watch.
think just to touch on this too, like you brought up the rec and stuff, like they do a great job with like their rec sports and stuff.
Yeah, they do.
And I think it's really brought the schools together, because I don't think we were as close with like other schools. I don't know. Would you say like growing up, it was like we had
There was
high school,
a little division as far as
like
that
prep
went.
and
Was there?
out,
Yeah.
Okay.
I hung out with JT and prep kids, so
Oh,
Yeah.
JT went to prep?
hangs out with the prep kids.
So
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I feel like it's a little bit, tighter now.
Yeah. So the lines have been kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, that's funny. So JT, I didn't know he was a prep kid.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you guys,
Up too.
were you,
Mm-mm.
oh, really?
On that high.
Oh, I thought for some reason you had an association of prep. I don't know why.
Mm-mm.
I did. Okay.
Our kids go there now.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what it is. Okay. I thought he was like a legacy kid,
Mhm.
going there.
No.
Okay. That's interesting. So actually, I'm going to kind of jump ahead too, on that whole sense of, you've grown up here, you both moved away, right? But you came back. So let's talk about that a little bit. How old were you when you left? What took you away? Was it just college? And how did you work your way back? And, when you left, what was it like? Oh, hey, I'm out of here. This is great. Or, kind of go into that a little bit.
So for me, when I graduated, I was ready to go.
Yeah.
And then at the last minute, I decided to stay and go to USCB for a year.
Really?
I did.
Why? What happened?
I don't think I was ready. I thought I was. In my head, I was like, I'm out of here. I'm out. I stayed for a year, and then I went to Florida for college.
Was USCB where it's at now?
It's the one out.
Captain.
In Bluffton.
Yeah.
So that was like the country, I guess, then, right? Was
Oh
it?
yeah, the dorms were. We were the first people to live in them. Like it was very.
Wow.
I mean, everything was brand new. It's a beautiful building, really.
Yeah.
It's a nice campus. So, I did a year there. Went to Florida for college. And then we ended up staying in Florida for a couple of years. Lived in Costa Rica for a little bit. And then when we were 23, we moved back.
Yeah.
I think that we did our traveling and we got out of our system. We were like, wow, it would be nice to be back home. It's safe.
Yeah.
And again, it's it's a unique place. It's beautiful and the people are kind here for the most part. Southern hospitality, that's real.
Is it?
I think it is because I feel like all the other places I visited, just things move slower here too,
Yeah.
Oh, it's a slow country.
I remind people of that sometimes at work. I'm like, you are on island time.
First time I went to Subway, I'm like, for real?
Yeah.
It's like,
20 minutes.
sitting in front of me.
Yeah.
20 minutes for a sub. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
But I didn't realize how much I loved that. And then we went away. We came back. I was like, how friendly people are here. And,
Had it changed much in that little time?
it changed a lot.
And like in what way?
Development mostly. I mean,
Okay.
driving onto the island from Bluffton. Bluffton used to be the south was the first
Yeah.
first
Yes.
sign. And also, Bluffton used to just be woods
Oh,
the country. I mean, there was nothing out there. And now it's like every time you look,
no.
there's more stuff being built. So, even in that I guess it wasn't that short of time, but in those years, when we came back, we were like, wow, like this is.
Well, I mean, but that
really-
wasn't that long from high school to 23. I mean, you're talking 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
There was a big
But that's
Big
when it
jump
was
then.
all starting, right?
Yes.
Right in that
Mhm.
period. Was
Yep.
So around what
Yeah.
year was that, if I could ask?
Okay, so we moved back in 2010,
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. So that's, I mean, think about that. That's still only 15 years
probably
ago.
2011.
Yeah.
That's when we bought our first house. Yeah,
Really?
2010, yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Wow.
your story.
As far as
Leaving.
oh yeah. So, I mean, I only went to college. I didn't really live anywhere else. I mean, I had to live there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was
Did you go on a scholarship?
Yeah, Presbyterian. So I'm 3.5 hours away. It's part of the reason I wanted to go there too was I'm somewhat close to home.
Yeah.
But I remember, so I met my wife up there, Ashley, and she used to vacation in Hilton Head. So I told her I was from Hilton Head. She's like, "Wow, that's cool." She moved back. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
HHI.
Yeah. Yeah. I share with ID and everything. So yeah, that was always the goal. Honestly, I didn't really plan on, never really had that desire to go somewhere else. I had a lot of, like I said, a lot of my friends that grew up here, like, nothing to do here. It's like, all right, go live somewhere else and figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll see you in a couple years, which happened.
And it did.
So a lot, yeah. I don't know, but I just always appreciated it. I've always been somebody that I like knowing where to go and who to, I like seeing people I know at the store, or day-to-day stuff. I'd kind of feel odd trying something new. That's just me,
Yeah.
and I feel like people that have moved here too kind of feel that. You still have that small town feel.
Yeah.
I can imagine growing up in a city or moving to a city. Charleston to me is a massive city,
Yeah.
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 But yeah, I didn't really have a plan on going anywhere else.
So how was that for Ashley because where did she grow up?
In Chapin, South Carolina, Columbia, right outside of Columbia.
So still bigger, state capital.
Well, yeah. I mean, she grew up in a very small town,
Okay.
outside of Columbia. So I think she kind of liked that feel about the island too. It's a good place to grow up, have kids grow up. So that was important, schools and all that.
Wasn't an issue for her when you guys came.
No, and it was I think her parents were excited because they wanted to always move down here too or retire here. So, it just worked out for us,
Which they did.
Which we did, yeah.
Both your families, both
Mhm.
sides live here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which
Which is amazing.
is an enviable, because we're here by ourselves. And every time I see your parents show up to the games and the kids, I think it's nice.
There's a lot.
Well, it should be, it's an easy sell.
Right?
Come on, move down.
Yeah. See, my family's like, $1 million for a shack? Really? A little hard. Where I'm from, no joke, my town right now, hometown, you can go buy 2,000 square foot house for $125,000.
Wow.
Can't buy a piece of land for that here.
Yeah. No joke. They're everywhere. A couple $100,000 gets you a mega house up. But it's Ohio.
Right.
Northeast Ohio. I love you, Ohio.
Right.
I'm such old age. But it's much better watching a Buckeye game from Dockside.
Yeah, with your flip-flops.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's jump forward into raising your families. So you guys came back, are now raising your families. Why did you, maybe a redundant question, but why did you choose here to raise your family, and how is it different from when you were a child
For
to
them.
raising, for them?
You feel like they have the same childhood?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I would say, I think it's also, it varies because of the difference in parenting, right?
Yeah.
JT and I are extreme people. We're always doing stuff.
True.
We're always moving.
Yes.
We're always outside. We're always, something's going on. So my kids live a very, active lifestyle, which is nice. I think that, also, like we were saying before, less people, less traffic before. So now you have to be a little bit more cautious as far as that goes.
Yeah.
I remember just being like, I'm biking to Coligny. And my mom would be like, all right, see you later. Whatever. And now it's
Yeah.
where are you guys?
Yeah.
What are you doing? I'm tracking see where they are. And that's also, the times have changed.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
everywhere, right?
It's true.
But it's still a very safe place. And that's one of the things that we love about it is the kids are safe.
Yeah.
They're happy, active. If I have friends that live in big cities and that different strokes for different folks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they love it, but they do say it's really hard when your kids start to get older and they don't have a yard to run around and they don't have a beach to go out to, And
Agree.
so
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot to be said for that.
Yeah. Do you feel like Little Bill, by the way, for those who are listening, Little Bill affectionately is Liam,
Yeah.
your son. We all call him Little Bill.
That's what I was called. I still like answer to that sometimes. My dad's friends are still around here, so sometimes they still call me.
So Little Bill would be Little Bill.
Yeah.
Your dad's name Billy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think, kind of what she was saying too is that, I think it's tough for us now because times have changed, not necessarily like the area.
Yeah.
I think it just goes for anybody anywhere.
Yeah.
Growing up kids, like get them off the device,
Oh,
But that's where we're blessed. Like you can get off the device and go do stuff. Like Liam was out fishing today, while I was doing yard work, caught 4 fish or something, and he's out in the mud getting mud minnows. I try to get him to do something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you learn different things doing that.
And you
stuff
can a great
can't-
spot on the Broad Creek. Is that where he was fishing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you can make a great spot over there.
And I think that's, just to talk about the island a little bit too, because I have friends in Charlotte and other places too that it's hard to find a community that has, like, we're in a little community that's got a pool, a dock and a little marsh and ponds and stuff to do. Like, that's hard to find other places,
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, if there's a pool in a community in another area, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
We've got the marsh. We can do
Oh.
all kind of things.
Every day I wake up, I'm like, oh, do I want to go bike the 13 miles of trails? Do I want to go walk our private beach
Right.
on Pine Island? Do I want to go fish one of the 20 lagoons,
Yeah.
or do I want to go sit down at dockside, and it's just, you're literally like,
Yeah. If you're not doing that kind of stuff, that's your fault.
that
If
is.
there's
Right.
anywhere you live, even off the road, I'd say there's ways to get there, ways to do it.
That's true. That's true.
Access points to any of this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point because we always talk about this with clients, right? Like, there's a guy that loves the desert, right? And there's the gal that loves the Alaska, right? But you got to find out. But I feel like when you come here, like for us, I say to Dell all the time, it's like it hit my DNA. Like something in me went, you found it. This is home. Like, and it drew me here. And you're right. And once you're here, though, if you don't immerse yourself,
Yeah.
then what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point of coming here? Yeah. So
So let's move on to a little bit about businesses and your entrepreneurial side of it. So
yeah.
are living here as young people, generally, there's a lot of local businesses, right? We're all pretty much entrepreneur. There's no businesses. There's no big corporate businesses for jobs. So
Right.
you have to be entrepreneurial. So give us, so Ali, you have in your family, there's 2 sets of business, probably more, but you primarily run North Forest Surf Shop.
Right.
That's
Yep.
you want to talk a little bit
Talk
about
about it.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What that's like?
So we have 1,200 rental bikes, beach
Yeah.
bikes. We have, we are the only authentic real surf shop on the island.
Yes, it's awesome.
Well,
Real surf shop.
define authentic, real surf
Yes,
shop.
yes, it's the real deal. This was JT's vision because he's a surfer, and his folks are business owners on the island. They have a construction company. They have a short-term rental company, and then we have the bike shop. And it's fun because all the businesses kind of complement one another.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he comes from that entrepreneurial mind. So he started the shop, and then he ended up going over to construction with his dad and my brother-in-law, and he was like, "Do you want to run the shop?" And I was like, "Yes, I do," because I am not good at sitting at a desk. So this is how. Thanks. And I love to talk, obviously. No, I
Yeah.
never shut up. So it's great because all I'm doing all day is talking to people, and I'm running around, and
Yeah.
it's a really fun thing to do. It's also cool for the kids because, Saturdays are big days for turnover day.
Check out day.
It's very chaotic.
Put them to work.
Yeah. They get in the truck with JT and they go and they help him deliver bikes, and
Yeah.
so it's fun. And we also have one of JT's best childhood friends works for us, Ryan.
Wow.
He's great. Him and JT do surf lessons, and I think owning a business here too, like you were saying, everybody is very complimentary of each other, and we all try to help each other out. We're always working together, just trying to help each other and, just keep the dream alive, right?
A lot of times when I'm speaking to you, you're going to so-and-so's business to help support them, like Kona Kitchen.
Yeah.
Kona Kitchen?
Yep.
Oh, Aloha Kitchen.
Aloha, yeah.
Yeah, you have a ton of friends that you go and support their businesses in the pocket full of sunshine.
Yeah.
And I've always thought that was awesome just because it is just local community that we're supporting.
Yes, I'd rather any day give the locals business anywhere I go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't go to Puerto Rico and go to Sam's Club.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But, it feels wrong. It's help the locals.
I agree.
People that live there and live the day to day. So,
Yep. Grind away. Tell me, I would love to know though, from a bike perspective.
Yes.
Tell me a good story about like bikes. I'm sure you've had some.
I've got some good ones.
Because I can only imagine. Have you ever had a bike come back mangled?
Oh yeah. So we had this one woman. We had this woman like 4 years ago, and the bikes come back and they're covered in pluff mud from the marsh, and they are taped. I mean, it's cement to a bike.
Yeah.
And we're just me, Ryan, and JT are sitting there, and we had no words. We were all like,
They hose that off.
like, what do we do with it? Like, the bike is toast. And I called her. I mean, we literally had to take them apart, get new parts, clean it. It was a mess.
Oh my gosh.
So I called her and I'm like, were you in the marsh? And she's like, yeah. I go, why? I just wanted to see what would happen. And I go, what happened? She goes, well, we got...
Of course you.
Oh, kind of like the lady that wanted to hat the
Alligator, right?
Don't castigate it.
I have another friend here that owns a restaurant. They own the studio. And she was telling me one time they had a woman come in and she was like, what time do they let the dolphins out? For the dolphin tour. And she was like, ma'am, they're wild animals. Cannot control when they out.
That's funny. I can just imagine the town like rounding them up, right, dropping some food in.
Yeah, and then we guys keep them in a tank all night and then let them out for your enjoyment.
Wow.
That is okay. Not how it works. But yeah, the bike business is great. It's fun. I meet a lot of nice people.
Yeah.
A lot of Ohioans, of course.
Hey, OH.
I've seen more Pennsylvania recently than I think Ohioans. So,
But the Ohioans take care of the bikes, right?
Oh.
They're responsible.
yes, always. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's a fun business, and for the most part, people are great, and they love coming into the shop and talking to us, and like talking to real locals and getting,
Real surface.
yeah,
Well, two things. Do you have a lot of repeat then? A lot of people come back
Tons.
here? Yeah, that's awesome.
Tons of
I
repeat.
love that about
Yes.
this island. But yeah, let's talk about the surfing.
Yes.
Because we've only done it once in Costa Rica.
Yes,
But like,
class.
it is, isn't it?
It is.
So, when you say authentic surf shop, do you rent boards for people to use?
Yes, so
Okay.
we have about 40 rental boards.
Okay.
And then we have, it's crazy this week. I sold a ton of surfboards.
Oh, wow. Well, that's
Are you
exciting.
are you selling them to people who are coming on vacation?
People that live in Savannah,
Oh,
people from Beaufort,
Oh.
which is great.
yeah.
So that's really exciting.
So
Yeah.
JT's a big surfer. So tell
Yes.
us about JT.
Well, the whole
Yeah.
family is
Yeah.
like,
Do competition.
Yeah.
Just tell us about that.
Yeah, so my
Yeah.
husband and my kids competitively surf. I do not. I'm there for a good time. I'm usually a photographer. And it's, he was born and raised here, and it's a great place to learn how to surf because it's mellow for the most part, unless we have a hurricane come through, which is rare.
Which you guys are probably the first ones out on the beach.
out there. I'm like, okay, make sure the kids are safe. The kids and him, they all competitively surf, and we travel for that too, which is fun. But Hilton Head is a great place to learn. And so a lot of our surf lesson people are children. We get a lot of kids. And it's cool because they pick it up almost immediately. But recently, we've had a lot of parents come along, and they are doing it too. They're picking it up too. I mean, at the 90-minute lesson, the whole family is standing up and riding waves, which is really cool.
To take a lesson.
Yes.
You should.
it's fun that families are coming and doing that together. I think
It's great.
that's what I love when I see the tourists all coming in.
Yes.
It's all this family activity.
Very.
That's something that they
That's
can
the
do.
difference. Because, like, I think Myrtle, like, there's a lot of people could think we're the same, right? It's Myrtle, Hilton Head.
Right.
Like, I know.
Very different.
I'm different.
It's on that.
We're anti-Myrtle Beach,
Because we are. We're literally the antithesis, of it. But I feel like Hilton Head's more about, tell people, I'm like, Myrtle's where you go and you are exhausted from your vacation.
Mhm.
You go home and you're like, I'm
You need
exhausted.
a vacation from
Here, you come, you park your car, you rent a bike, and you enjoy each other.
Mhm.
And that's the difference. It's like, it's not here to be entertained every minute,
Yep.
sucked out of every nickel you have. And here, you're like, literally, hey, I'm in front of you.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy each
Shut up.
other.
Yeah.
your mind and
Yeah.
don't worry about work or
Yeah.
whatever you're doing next week. It's just be present.
Yeah.
Enjoy the peacefulness of it.
Oh, you need to be with our energy lady the other day.
I know.
Meditation. No.
Did you sit in this chair? What you
She's
did?
that right.
What's the best place to surf on the island? Is there a particular?
No. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah. You can't tell. I think they're out. I think all the secrets are out. Yeah.
But our neighbor, he grew up in Richmond Hill, been fishing these waters forever. He goes out, he'll come home with 200 pounds of cobia, right? In the big old bags. Like, where'd you go? I don't know. Can't tell. Hey, Scott, I'm thinking about going, I don't know what to tell you. Man, what do I use? I don't know.
Yeah.
You come in with
Yeah.
fish and you won't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I can't get it out.
Wow. To give us
Yeah, he gives us it.
Oh,
He won't tell me where to go.
Hush money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
love it.
So you're not going to tell me where to go for surfing?
Uh-huh.
It depends on who you ask. So,
you have to come and get a surf lesson.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a north end spot and there's a south end
Hey,
spot.
listen,
Basically
millions
how
of
it
people are
goes.
going to hear about your business from this. Yeah.
Alley and the surf lesson.
All right. No.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
Okay.
There's two spots. There's two main spots here.
Okay. We'll leave it at that.
Yes.
Well,
And,
history episode.
Yes. Yes. So, Billy, now we go to you with your businesses. Talk to us a little bit about what you do.
What's fun?
Yes.
Hey, could you quite a litany of entrepreneurs.
Still trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up. Yeah, I do like that. It keeps me busy. I like have my hands in different places and stuff. But my main business is I run a travel club on the island. So it's a sales center for Riviera Travel. It's a big fulfillment loyalty program that like American Express, Marriott, like all these different companies use a portion of it. Like we sell the membership by itself,
Okay.
which I think is great because, people that are visiting, prices of places and vacations have gone way up, so it's just like a little membership that helps people save money.
So anybody can buy it,
Mhm.
and it's not like a timeshare though,
No.
right? So they're buying a membership into like a club.
Yeah, but it's great too because I do a lot of business taking people out of timeshare because we can access timeshare in the program.
Oh.
So it's just renting it versus owning it.
Okay.
So it's a different alternative, but it's great because I think it fits a lot more of what people are doing nowadays, like traveling. Not everybody's going to the same place every year,
Sure.
Yep.
They might take 4 vacations one year, just maybe not one, or not even one another year.
Yeah.
So it's just a membership with a small membership fee.
I
It's
got
kind of like Sam's or Costco for vacations. The good way.
So is it a monthly fee then?
I mean, if you buy into it, it's a small fee, and then you
Okay.
pay a monthly or a yearly membership fee. It's like $130 a year.
Really?
Yeah.
And then they just get a specialized rate is basically what it is. Okay.
That's it.
And what's the name of the company?
It's Quest Travel Club.
Okay.
So you have 3 little offices on the island.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know you also do other things. Cause one, I
Yeah.
know you're big into fitness
Yep.
and health and wellness, which is another episode I'd love to talk
Yeah.
about. We'll get you back on for that one. And then you also are in photography and art.
Yep.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, those are my 2, I guess, big side gigs. I do a lot of photography, especially this time of the year. It's usually like portrait and family photography.
Okay.
So that keeps me busy for sure. I do get a lot of returning clients. I've noticed this year, people that just come, back to the island every year.
Yeah.
So I do that, and then I do a little bit of artwork in the off season, in the winter months. I do wood carvings and paintings and stuff just
Lovely.
on commission. So just little hobbies that I
You sell
enjoy.
these?
Yeah.
You sell
Mhm.
them. What are they of? Like,
The marshscapes are always a popular one. Like I like doing, kind of impressionist stuff, where I use like a palette knife.
Okay.
I want you to know it's a piece of artwork, I'm not a naturalist. I see people that, can paint a portrait of you and it looks like a photograph.
Right.
I'm not that.
Okay. Yeah.
I like people knowing that this is a piece of wood and metal, but it's also a sailfish.
Wow.
And finding like a piece of wood off the beach and I'll carve that into a fish or something,
Really?
Yeah.
So you don't use a specific wood every time. You just kind of.
I mean, I usually do use a specific like white wood that's kind of easy to carve, but I have made them out of different pieces of wood if it will work,
Yeah.
But I like using different materials and working with my hands and stuff. So like I do a lot of palette knife paintings and stuff like that.
How did you get in? I mean, were you always artistic?
Funny,
as a
yeah. I
child?
mean, my grandfather was an artist, but the high school had a great art program. And I just remember one of the assignments was to carve a fish out of wood and metal, like use different materials.
Mhm.
And I remember everybody was fighting to buy my fish at the senior thing.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, okay, how much you want to pay it?
Like, what?
Fun, So it just kind of, since high school, I've been making them, and doing a little bit here and there because it's something I enjoy.
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's hard to like give it up, even photography. Like I like the artist aspect of a photo. There's lots of photographers out there now,
Mm-hmm.
but I try to take an artist approach to each photo, look at the lines and the balance of, light and stuff like that.
Did you are you self-taught in that? Or did you go to?
Yeah, I mean, I did in school. That was kind of a business and art. I was going to school for business, and then the economy crashed. So I was like, I'm gonna get my art degree because I can always, get into that later.
Yeah.
So I want to do real estate actually. So I finished up with a design degree, but I didn't want to do graphic design, which is everything now. I didn't want to be behind a computer. So that's why I kind of still keep up with it because it's something I enjoy to do.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could. You're a bit of an introspective kind of guy. I can imagine, because every time I'm around you, I can just imagine you liking your quiet time, and I can imagine you getting lost into something like that.
Yeah.
Very.
I guess that helped, because like you were saying, I'm talking to people like all day long, and I enjoy that. I love people. I think that's why I like what I do, but I do like my quiet time, to do.
Quiet time to regenerate.
And I think everybody should have something like that.
Well, it's funny because we talk about this. I'm in a people business too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they say for us, an introspective person isn't somebody who's just like, a loner. It's somebody who they recharge alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people who are extroverts, they recharge in the crowd. That's how they get their energy, whereas, we have to go in the woods,
Yeah.
where we go by ourselves. And if I don't have that, cause I'll notice it, Dale be like, I'll be miserable if I'm just literally slammed for 2 months straight and haven't had any time to just go.
Hey, to go to the woods.
Go to the woods. It's the beach. Mine's the beach.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
By myself. I'm that guy that's sitting in the chair by myself.
Down at the water.
Down at the water. Yeah.
That's-
Recharge. It is though, isn't it?
Yep.
So, I've really learned that to be like, okay, it's not such a bad thing. So that's fascinating.
So, Billy, do you do design clothes too?
So I started a business called Southern Looms. It was just kind of my design I made up, kind of tied into fishing and stuff like that. Kind
I
of,
love the logo. The
yeah.
redfish.
It's just something I created, design. I started, making the shirts. I'm kind of in between right now. I have to change a little bit on the logo and redesign and figure all that stuff out. So I'm kind of in limbo right now, but it's something I still kind of passionate about. I think it's a cool little brand and logo.
I was out somewhere and I saw somebody wearing one. I was
Did
like,
you?
I know that guy.
Yeah. I think it's cool because it's tied into Hilton Head. I think that's a popular thing. Like,
Yeah.
You guys probably have people like getting a shirt because it's got Hilton Head on it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to get a Real Talk Hilton Head shirt.
We do.
Yeah.
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 You used to design the baseball, the Hilton Head baseball.
Yes, that was
right?
a full-time job. I didn't get paid for that one. No, I enjoyed doing that, designing the uniforms for the boys. Yeah. They all,
They're great. I mean, we get
Yeah.
so many compliments everywhere we go. We're like, I love you.
Yeah, I think we're the coolest looking team. I mean, if
I
you
appreciate
on looks, we're going to win every game, right?
that's
If
half
you-
the battle.
Yeah, it is, right? You
Confidence.
Right? They were.
right? You look good, feel good.
Mhm.
So, are you for the photography side of things and for the art side of things? Can people like employ you now? Like you said, it's on commissions, so they would
Yeah.
come to you and say, "Hey,
Yeah, like I think, my wife's really good at designing homes and like decorating and stuff. So she had me do a bunch of pieces for our house when she was kind of putting it together. And I gotten a lot more requests for stuff like that. Like if you have a nice big open space, white wall, and you want to put a pretty little, sunset morphscape right there. Shoot me the dimensions and all that, and it's something I can do. Yeah.
okay, yeah." And we'll put links to both your companies as well and your contact information when we do the videos
Cool.
in it, so that people can reach out to you. Because I think it's awesome. On a sidebar, I think Ashley should be in real estate. By the way, tell her to quit the the teaching.
Yeah, I talked about that.
Yeah.
Let's switch a little bit, and I know we don't want to give too many gems away, but let's talk about some of the gems on the island. Like
Yes.
if you were to recommend, if your favorite spots on the island, like if you were to say, hey,
Restaurants.
yeah, restaurants, things to do. Let's talk a little bit. We'll start with restaurants. Like, what would you say is one of your favorite spots?
Sage Room.
Sage Room.
It's
Why?
amazing.
Why?
I've never had a bad meal there.
Okay.
That's good.
And it's fine dining, but the atmosphere there is not stuffy and overwhelming. It's great. And
What's
the open
the dress?
kitchen. I'd say resort casual.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's an open kitchen, so you're watching the guys in action, and it's a great spot. There's so many good restaurants
I know.
here.
I heard there's 250 restaurants.
Yes.
on the island.
More.
It really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
300.
Oh, golly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Well, you
crazy.
count the food trucks and stuff now.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the hibachi on the water.
Yeah. Yeah, so our friends that own Al's Aloha, they
Yeah.
own the hibachi cruise.
awesome.
And, dive into that a little bit.
That's fun. If
Okay.
you want to have an experience living here or
I haven't
visiting,
done that yet.
oh, it's
Yeah.
a blast.
So what do they do? Go out in Broad Creek, call about?
Yeah,
Okay.
they go up and down Broad Creek, and there's a cash bar, and the guys cook the hibachi on the front of the boat. The back end is covered in case of weather. And they let the kids get up there and throw the fire
Ah.
as long as they're old enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
When Julian was up there, I was a little nervous, but he did it.
Iron boat.
I'm sort of thinking, get me off the.
Dorsheimer's.
Yeah.
So they're throwing the fire. They had a blast. It
Yeah.
was a great time, and it was just, they play good music, and everybody's just happy on the boat. I mean, what's not to be happy about?
Yeah.
We saw dolphins.
Yeah.
That's a really fun.
Let them out.
That's for the hibachi cruise. Yeah.
They walkie-talkie. Let the dolphins out.
Yep.
Yeah. You please exit. Yeah.
It's funny on a sidebar because we always take our clients out during the boat club, so we take them out. Every time we see a dolphin, I'm like, "That's $50." Yeah.
Right.
Like, so,
Right. You're welcome.
like,
Yes, that's a great thing to do. Another thing,
well, real quick on that, are they out of what marina do they go out?
they go out
It's Broad Creek.
Broad Creek.
Yeah.
Broad Creek Marina. Another thing over that way, is they have the zip line.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Oh yeah.
They have the go-karts over there, and then they have that ropes course.
Yes.
I think Shiloh came with us
Yep,
one time.
you
to do
did.
that.
Mhm.
Yep.
I was scared to death.
I've not taken
He's
it.
like, you Swimmers, you can do it.
This guy is our adventure. He'll do anything. But Shiloh is so conservative. If he sees any danger at all, he's like, not on it.
I mean, I was like, but that's a really fun experience. Also, just go into the Piggly Wiggly and like getting
yeah.
shrimp and go to Low Country Boil or
I've never had a low country boil. What am I missing?
You're not a local then.
Billy's like, give me a low country.
oysters and Low Country Boil, or else you
I
don't
don't do the raw oysters. Yeah.
Oysters.
Raw oysters.
there.
I never ate oysters or shrimp or any really until I got here, and now I'm like,
With that, we'll edit that
Yeah.
out.
Listen, I love oysters now. The crab cakes. I never thought I would love crab. And I'm like, oh my God. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Where's it? On Defusky, at Freeport there. Those are the best.
Yes, those are so
Those are the
good.
deviled crab.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
think, one of our favorite thing to do around here is eat. That sounds fair. It's mad. And we cook at home a lot, but like 3 nights a week, Gigi's like, where should we go now? I'm like, I don't know. Everything's so.
Oh, sorry to interrupt, but Piggly Wiggly, go there, or on Sunday between 9 and 11, Liam's going to be bagging groceries.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
Yep. Well,
I will do
Get
it.
a bunch of stuff, like put them to work.
Yep.
Yeah. Love it.
Piggly Wiggly, it's all local fish, right?
Everything is
Ian,
local.
and
Yeah.
that's the best place.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've got a lot of.
they got a great
fish
selection of
vendors.
wines. They got a
Yeah.
great curation of a lot of things.
Yeah, and the family that owns it, the Martins, they're
Yeah,
just
they're
the
awesome.
most lovely people. They've been here forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the pig opened in 1953.
Something
Oh,
like that.
Wow.
And,
goodness.
Wow,
think
they're
about
rich
that. We didn't have electricity on the island until 1950.
What?
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
So they opened that store 3 years after we
After
got
electricity.
It's only had the swing bridge.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Wow. They
Yeah.
are. So they're definitely, and the whole family's still here.
Yeah, most of them.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah.
But,
Wow.
David and his wife, Chris, they're really great people. And yeah, they just keep passing it down generation to generation. And
Yeah.
That's
good.
local business.
yes.
So Billy, where's your go-to
Yeah. What do you
restaurants
do?
and go-to places?
Wherever my wife wants to go.
Good answer.
Actually, no, I mean, Jane's, she does love going to Jane's. I've never had a bad meal there.
There's
You know,
Fresh.
it's so good. Yeah.
That is. Yeah.
It seems like a chick spot, you know?
Yeah, I know. She took me there. I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
you know?
it actually is.
I mean, I still like, it's turned into a tourist spot now, but Sea Shack's always been a good one. It's a hole in the wall. Executive Park, right off Pope Avenue,
Okay.
down on the south end.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet.
It's paper plates, like nothing fancy, but it's like one of the best seafoods.
Okay.
and they have fried gator and
Yeah, frog legs.
frog.
Yeah.
Okay, you know me.
Shrimp burger.
I'm a little like, all right. One step at a time, maybe.
Yeah. I think I have like certain spots. I like certain things, if that makes sense. Like I
Right.
like the raw bar at Hudson's. I can just sit there and eat everything off the raw bar.
Okay.
Where else? Yeah, it's tough.
Just a lot. There's
It is, yeah.
So let's talk about oceanfront dining. Like
Much though. There's not much
there's,
of it.
there's just a couple
Why
bars.
is
Yeah.
that?
What would be your favorite? What would you recommend if someone wants to get a quick-
Fish Camp. I love Fish Camp. That's another one
I
I
do
just thought of. Yeah,
I
if you-
love
if
Fish
you like oysters, get the oysters low country style.
Okay.
That's
What's
the
the
best.
difference? What's the
So they grill the oysters and then they put pimento cheese on it with a
Ooh.
jalapeno.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
going.
that's good.
Want to go there tonight?
Sounds good.
And we like next door to that as well as up the creek.
Never eaten it up the creek yet.
Great.
Cool little
Love
bar,
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slow country.
More food stuff. Yeah.
I feel like we
we're
gotta
local.
get out more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Well, I
of
know they
things.
just did the Tiki Hut. Have you guys?
I haven't been since they redid
Yeah,
it.
they-
Yeah.
We went. It was amazing.
A lot of
They did a
fun.
great job with it.
Yeah, they
They
kind of
did.
needed that.
They needed.
Yeah.
I mean, it had been like that since we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys spend a lot of time there as kids? Was that the
For
where were
sure.
you?
Oh yeah,
Hanging out for the high schoolers.
Coligny Beach.
For sure.
Blakeney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'd sneak in past the guard, park
Go
right
jump
up
in the pool.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
there.
I want to ask a question that just came through my brain.
Yep.
Don't do it.
This is a family broadcast.
That was definitely the hangout beach there.
We played volleyball down there and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
all of that. It's awesome.
We got a lot of questions.
I know.
So,
Just a couple more.
yeah, no, this is great. So, all right, I'm going to throw out this question. What does living the low country lifestyle mean to you?
I mean, to me, going back to the slow pace, like, laid back, like, I think that's just living that way, living outside, enjoying the area that you're in. Like, if you're not enjoying it, again, that's your fault,
Right.
But there's so much to enjoy here. So, but also like treating people well too, having that community feel, doing stuff for the community. And I think that's a big part of it too. Like that small town feel, I think will always be here for Hilton Head.
Yeah.
As much as it gets built up, I think we'll always kind of have that feel. We welcome people that aren't really locals, but
As he points out, right?
yeah. But, I think that's definitely it for me, at least.
Yeah, I mean, same thing, just that, the slow paced lifestyle, the kindness, the island time, that's community. I don't know. It's just, like I said, it's such a unique place. You don't find this in many places in the world,
I love coming from your perspective because, like, Costa Rica, like, we had actually considered Costa Rica before here, right?
Yeah.
If I could speak Spanish, we might have been there. That was a big hurdle.
Yeah.
But beautiful place. But had its shortfalls. You also have a place in Puerto Rico. So you've lived in some tropical areas, beach areas, and yet you still feel like this is
this is home. This is home. I think that, I mean, tropical beaches, love them, of course. But I think that, my mom is from the South. And so my dad's from the North. So growing up, it was funny for me to see like two sides, the North and the South. But my mom's family was always, they were always just sitting back with a glass of sweet tea, took it real slow. They made fried chicken and grits and all this stuff. And I remember just being like, that's so cool. Like, I love how they live,
Yeah.
And I'm doing it. It's great.
Yeah. I agree. I do too.
I think too, you brought this up earlier too, but it's like we're sheltered here. Like I didn't really see it because I didn't live anywhere else, but I see it like in my work and stuff, like people from all over that, we're almost in a bubble,
We are.
which I think is great.
I agree with you. Yeah. Yeah. I think that bubble thing is a very real thing, and I think for the kids, I love it, that you're awake over there. Yeah. Okay. Just making sure you don't fall asleep on us. Sorry.
We're boring you.
Yeah, I know, right? No, but that's the one thing I always think about with these guys is, and that's why we asked the question about going away and coming back. Because, I don't know if they always know, like, the world that they're growing up in.
Yeah. I always joke with people like, fun home spoiled,
Yeah.
Like I'm for sure spoiled, yeah.
Yeah.
We tell the kids all the time, we're like, you guys don't understand how good you have it.
Well, but when
No.
you go away,
But then when you
come
go
back,
come back, you're like, okay.
appreciate it.
Yep. No
Yep.
doubt about it.
We should like send our kids to like a city or something.
Threatened it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Summer in the city.
That's a good idea, actually. Or send them to Ohio.
Village.
These guys are always like, we should move to Ohio. I'm like, you couldn't handle winter in Ohio. You would literally freak out,
My kids are like, oh, it'd be cool to live in the snow. I'm like, it's not.
No.
One day, cool.
Yep.
When I took Dale to Ohio, every year about February, if I didn't get her out to the south to the sun,
depression.
she would just, it was bad.
It was.
Because I lived outside of Cleveland for a little bit too.
What?
Yeah.
You went to Cleveland?
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Tell me.
We lived there for 3 years when I was a kid.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
What took
Bay
you guys?
Village, west side of Cleveland.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What took you guys up there?
My dad. He's in the radio business. So
What station was he at?
he was at WMMS.
No way.
Yeah.
That's the station that broke Rush. My favorite
Yes.
band.
I love Rush. When I was a kid, I'd have to listen to the station all the time. And
Yes.
these Canadians. Music. And I'm like,
Yeah, they broke Rush.
Yeah.
I just went up to Geddy Lee. The drummer died. The Geddy Lee, the lead singer, he's doing a book tour where what he does is he gets interviewed and then he takes questions from the crowd and they reads from his book and everything. And they had the original DJ from WMMS that broke it, and she interviewed him.
That's neat.
They said because everybody thought it was a Zeppelin song.
Yes.
Like the first song,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, that new Zeppelin song, play it again. And
Yep.
it was Rush, WMMS. And Eagle as like their logo and stuff.
Yeah. So the Ohio winters, you're not.
Especially up on the lake.
We lived on Lake Road.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
We
Yep.
were on the lake,
Yeah,
and it
you
was just my mom's like, you'd be waiting for the bus and it'd be like -7 out, and they didn't cancel school. You were going.
Oh,
We had those roads ready. We're bundled up and
All
you had to be
night
there.
long.
Here, what
Yep.
year do we have the snow?
Oh, yeah.
2016?
16, yeah.
You guys have snow here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
We had it.
Legit snow. I had a snowman in my driveway.
No, you did not.
Yeah.
Did you have a picture of it?
Yeah.
Send it to me. I'm going to put it on the video.
Yeah, we
Last time it snowed, I was a year old. I think it was like 89
it
or.
was in 1989. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
So was it here in the morning and gone by 4?
No, it's paid. Yeah.
Because the kids were coming.
We were freaking out. We were buying canned foods, bottled waters. We didn't like.
These stores are empty
Yeah.
weren't they?
Liquor stores were definitely.
Yeah.
Right.
Did see a picture online of snow on the beach.
Yeah.
With,
Mhm.
with little,
That wasn't Photoshop.
Christopher.
You guys have to send me pictures. I'd love to put that as an overlay.
On the Cross Island. This is not safe, so don't do this. We took boogie boards.
Oh, why?
No.
Oh.
No, it was out. They were losing their minds. Yeah. It
Wow.
was like the end of times,
2 inches?
It was not even.
No,
It wasn't even.
But you're
Rush
right.
Closing out, we're like, hey, ever. And it's like,
Slope on Hilton.
Charlotte was like that though, right? We first
one
yeah, one
snow
no, a year.
season.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, and what I don't understand though is what is it with the milk and the bread? Like, you know what I mean?
Toilet paper. Pooping all day. Take it easy, guys. Just get a couple of rolls.
It will melt.
Weather, we
Yeah.
have to talk about hurricanes because we get a lot of
Oh yeah.
questions
Yeah.
from people. So, in your experience with hurricanes,
Oh, I got some good stories.
all right, lead us on to us.
No, I'm a proponent of staying here to the last minute,
Yeah.
'Cause I've personally been, I've evacuated twice as a kid
Okay.
and got hit where I evacuated.
Oh wow.
Up in Charlotte, we went, I remember once in,
Geez,
Oh,
family.
so
Yeah.
that was in the 90s, right?
it was like
that.
Fran or, no, Hugo hit like Charleston. That was a bad one, but,
That one.
It was like,
Fran or something like in the late 90s.
yeah. I
Like,
remember
hit
that.
us up there. We lost. It was miserable. But, I always tell people too, my dad always told me this, but like on the coast, we're very tucked away.
Yeah.
Like the Gulf Stream's 65, 70 miles offshore.
Yep.
We have so many storms that come right at us. I know Matthew was kind of like
That was freak.
I don't think that will happen again.
Yeah.
Knock on wood,
Yeah.
But the Gulf Stream, you see all these storms projected to come to us. They shoot up that Gulf Stream. They hit
Yep.
Myrtle Beach, Hatteras,
That's where they always
it's
hit.
right
Really
there.
Yep.
And we're tucked away. We're safe,
Yeah.
back in there, I think. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to,
That long shell.
yeah. So like I'll wait personally till the last minute if I need to. I don't want to be without power, with my kids and stuff.
Yeah. That's, I think, the biggest thing is
Yeah.
the power,
Yeah, but for the kids, it's like, whatever, we'll sit here and
Yeah.
ride this thing out.
Right. Right.
The internet.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they drive us.
Yeah.
We're nothing like Florida because again, the Gulf Stream of Florida is a couple miles offshore. That's why they get hammered right there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wouldn't let that be a concern. It's going to be every once in a while, like have a plan, for it.
Yeah.
Flooding's going to be if anything, that might be the biggest problem,
Yeah.
just because it's the low country. We're at sea level,
Yeah.
a lot of places. So
Yeah. And I think too, the tornadic things like that, you don't understand like with how many pine trees we have and how weak they
Yeah.
are. And
Yeah.
it's crazy. You look around the island, we lost, I think, 200,000 trees during Matthew.
really,
You would never
Yeah.
know. You
Wow.
would never know though.
that's
Yeah.
how many
That's
we
how many we
lost.
lost, yeah.
Wow.
And the canopy is still very lush.
Yes. Yep.
Very-
Which is what you love. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. The storms. Yeah. That's always probably one of the biggest, I think, fears that people have when they're thinking about
I think so. I mean, you can't let that stop you though from
Yeah, I mean, think
living
about
your best
Matthew.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
The thing about Matthew, that hit us pretty much dead on. Like if you look at it,
Yeah.
I mean, have all these tornadoes and it wasn't that much home damage.
We actually
Really?
vacationed right after Matthew and Seapoint.
Realized
Yeah,
we were actually driving down from Charlotte.
yeah.
Yeah.
Still have a
Probably a
screenshot.
great time to come.
And it was like raining like crazy on the highway. Knuckleheads hadn't looked at. We'd been busy.
We thought it
Not-
passed already.
We thought it was gone. Literally, we're coming down 95, blue dot on the map, storm around us. And we're like, oh my God, we're in the middle of war. We had zero idea.
Yeah.
Zero. I
We drove right in, and it was like,
right
and we actually got on the island. I mean, I still look back and think, how? Like, but stuff was everywhere.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
It was
They were in the process of cleaning up.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people got hurt, their homes.
I think it was like an outer
They
band
have-
we may have hit or something, but it was, we thought it was gone.
Yeah.
So we're like,
Yeah.
what do we do?
I mean, our house flooded during Matthew, but
Did it? The one you're in now?
no,
Oh.
or the one in North Forest Beach
Oh, yeah. Really? So what?
And that-
the
sucked. But I wouldn't let that stop me
No.
Right.
from ever
Because
living
that's
somewhere.
once in your life.
It was a very rare occurrence.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, we were just part of the street that we're on was just super low, and it was just
I mean, I think of that when I'm looking at houses, you know,
Yeah.
Yes.
how it's sitting, you know, and how it's
yeah,
built up.
yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want to be
Yeah.
below the flood.
I think
Yeah.
we are sitting almost on the summit of Hilton Head, very close to it, because it's the Country Club course. So what is that? 10? It's the 11th hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're like real close. I'm like, hey, I'm on Mount
You're
Hilton.
good.
Okay.
Now we did buy a house that is now tall and not slab on grade,
Yes,
so we
yeah.
did learn something from that.
Yeah.
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 But I mean,
I think to Billy's point though, if you're going to live coastal, mitigate your risk, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so like if you're looking at it and you just, I just would tell everybody like, cause we're not allowed to say, oh, you'll never get a storm, nor would I ever say that, but would say, go look at the history and just look at the maps and you'll see they're all, it's like spaghetti going all up and down the coast and in Florida. It's like, if you're choosing here versus Florida, it's like, here's a no-brainer.
Oh,
yeah,
The storm is a big
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
you know, so.
Well, it's funny because, like he said, it's like JT says. Every time we have to evacuate, he's like, I don't think we're gonna do that. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait this one out.
Yep.
Like that's the true locals. They're like, man, we're good.
It's funny because we were here for what, 3 of them, I
Three
think.
of them, yeah.
Well, we had been
We're coming.
coming and we don't, because we were always vacationing here. And then my mom would be at home calling, be like,
Get out of there.
Yeah. I'm like, Mom, you watch the Weather Channel again? You know, the whole, you know.
Oh yeah.
There was a guy just walking past.
He's like, where you at? We're on the beach. Mom, these are the
That's when
Wait,
she is coming
yeah,
visit,
yeah.
you know. Beaches are cleared.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, boogie boarding on that surf. But I was like, boogie boarding, no.
Yeah.
BT and the boys get their surf.
Yeah.
So they're at home.
Us, like living here, it's like we get like a break.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
close canceled. Beach. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a great day.
Yeah.
So living here, it kind of takes me into a question because I get this a lot. You know, part of why we wanted to live here was kind of like that holiday feel,
Mm-hmm.
right? How do you feel like you're on holiday all the time, or how does real life impact the holiday feeling for you guys? Do you understand what I'm asking?
Yeah,
You
so
know?
we do like staycations here, and I think a lot of locals do that. You know, we'll take our kids to Old Oyster Factory and we'll go to Seafood Tower and we'll sit on the water and we'll like, you know, stuff like that.
Or go down the Weston and just,
Yeah, and
yeah.
go to the pool.
Yeah.
The hot tubs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a really fun part of being here too. Is like you kind of
play tourist.
You can play tourist. It's
Yeah.
fun.
And get away from reality, right?
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what we love. Yeah.
Yes. You know, when you have to go to work and go to school, obviously it consumes your time.
Mhm.
But even on the weekends, it's great. It's like, yeah, you go over to the West and you go to Sonesta, you hop on the boat, you go to the beach, like whatever. You are partially on vacation.
I love the
All the time.
energy they bring,
Yeah.
tourists.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they're bringing that anticipation and they're excited and they hit
Yeah.
the bridge. And so I actually love going down to Caligny and just sitting around down
Sometimes
there.
it's hard to be around them though, because it's like 12 o'clock on a Tuesday and they're having a good old time.
When we moved here, I never had so much rum. In the beginning, like the first year, I was like, I think I probably gained 15 pounds. And I'm like, I wasn't trying to,
Yeah.
but it's like everywhere you
Just wanted to fit in.
Yeah.
Trying to be a
So what
tourist.
do you think with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think having kids now too has helped. Like, I'm definitely like taking it for granted, just being here and like living on the beach, you know, and like having the kids like has forced us to go do stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's been good. Like, I remember we had a good time where we were like, after like a Friday, like, let's go have like dinner on the, like order pizza to the beach. You know,
Right.
just sit there.
Yeah.
And like we it sounds like a lot of work, and like, oh my God, we got to pack up stuff. And every time we get there, we're like, we got to do this more often.
More often.
Agree.
Like,
I agree.
go shoot over to the Fusky, like, stay there for a couple nights or something.
Let's talk
Love
about Defusky.
Yes.
When we talked about it a little bit earlier, I wanted to come back to it. So let's talk about Defusky. Why?
I think they've done a great job of like letting it be what it's always been. I know there's lots of talks of like it, changing and adding more to it, but I think the thing that makes the Fusky so cool is it's like hasn't changed in years.
Yeah.
But it's a good little like getaway to get away from like kind of like civilization, I guess. Like you can go to the little crab shack there and just, rent a golf cart, like ride a horse on the beach, and do stuff that like you can't do anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it's so pure low country.
For sure.
Like when you, first time we went and you get that golf cart and you drive down that dirt road.
And get a golf cart because cars aren't rare.
Well,
there's a couple, there's some that have them there, yeah.
Most four-wheelers or
I just remember, and I mean, you want to talk about rustic. It's like, and then you see people who own lots and they just got like a tent or a camper, or, and you're like, I'm in another world.
It's the wild west.
That's what we call
it. Is, and it's
cute and beautiful. And then
Yeah.
you go to Defusky and it's like,
it's as wild as you can get, So did you guys go there a lot as kids? Did you?
I did. My buddy has a place there. It's called Jolly Shores. I think it's like a rental you can get, and we kind of helped him like build it and come from time to time. But like, it's kind of like a little retreat. They have like a house, a pool house, like a little chipping green.
Oh, that's awesome.
Jet skis. You can shoot clay and stuff there.
Like the Dorsheimers have a place over there, right? Right?
Yeah, they have some land over there.
Yeah, and they like go, he says they go like dirt biker or boarding and stuff. Yeah.
A ropes course and
Oh my God. Me too.
tents.
They are the best. Like they are just so
They're
freaking
fun, great people,
Yeah, they're good. I've often thought about that. That'd be fun to have a place over there.
Defusky.
Yeah.
I have thought about that a lot too.
Yeah.
Have you?
I wanted to move over there.
We should buy a compound. But the other thing I'm thinking about, like, for my clients,
For it's tough.
well,
Okay.
like too, if you have a medical emergency, when's the ferry coming? I'm dying over here.
You're booked.
Yeah.
Right. You're out.
That's true too.
Right.
Yeah. Motor or jet ski, right?
It's kind of things that we do on the weekend, right? We live the low country life on the weekend. And what does your day-to-day life look like?
Depends on what activities
going on?
go.
Right.
Which many sports we have.
Yeah. Yes.
So is it like a regular life
Regular life.
places? Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean,
It's in the evening you can go to the beach or you can
Yes.
jump on the boat.
yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You-
Yeah, other than that, it's the day to day. It's, it's the work, the kids, the house, just the normal.
Where's your getaways? Where do you guys go? If you're going to
If
just
you leave
get
home.
away.
Oh, okay.
Like, hey, we're going to pack up. We're going to go somewhere. We're going to just.
Like
We go to Ohio. No one's there out here.
I've never been to Ohio.
Yeah. I think so.
We're going to take you to
No.
Ohio.
I would say we go to Jekyll Island a lot.
Yeah. Jekyll's
It's a
cool.
good little
Yeah.
spot. There's a water park over there.
Yeah, Jekyll Island's water park is cool.
And the history there is really neat. We usually stay at the inn there. Really cool history. That was the Rockefellers' summer retreat.
Do you know that's where the central bank was started?
I
The Federal
didn't know
Reserve?
that,
And the
yes.
first
Yep.
phone call was made there.
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And the first ever condominium was built there.
Oh,
Really?
wow. In the whole country.
Mhm.
Wow.
I thought you were going to say the first ever condom. How would anybody know that, number one? Thank God you didn't go there.
Useless fact.
I was like, we're going to have to edit that one out.
Yeah, no, we can't do that. It's really cool over there. That's like a quick. Also, Savannah being close by is nice too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because we go over there to watch a hockey game or,
But it's changed though since you were kids, right? Savannah.
in my opinion, it's cleaned up. I don't know
Yeah,
how you
for
feel
sure.
about that. Yeah,
I agree.
Okay.
I think they're doing a really good job trying to
Change it.
cater
Gentrify.
to tourists, make it more family friendly. I mean, Plant Riverside, that whole
Oh, that
area, that was
You
insane.
didn't go
We
there.
Oh, you did?
You did not go down there.
Really?
was
Down on the riverfront
Maybe
there.
it's because we were teenagers, but
Okay.
I mean, I don't even remember my parents ever going there either. It just wasn't. You didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice now.
The arena's there.
Yeah.
They,
It's great. We have all these
District.
concerts that come into town.
I know.
We have the hockey team.
yep.
And they're
Right.
doing other stuff here. And the whole other side
Yeah.
of the river's getting
Yep.
rebuilt.
Yeah.
Well, on the conventions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I drove down there about a month ago. The golf course is there, and there's some houses, and then they got all those condos.
A
Yep.
lot going on.
And then if you're driving towards Tybee from there too, you can even see where they've gone all the way down with it.
Yeah.
Even more so Tybee, that's another.
Yeah, tell us about that. I use Tybee a whole lot.
Yeah. No, Tybee's, I mean, I like going to Tybee if you're having like, if you want to go to the beach with like a group of friends and get a big house or something, it's a little bit more affordable than here, you know?
Okay.
You know, it's just a different change, you know, from doing something here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tybee's a totally different beach to us, isn't it?
Well, but yeah, I mean, the beaches are similar, but again, it's just another escape. It's kind of like more built up to Fusky, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good description.
Yeah.
You ever go to Hunting Island?
It's been a while, but yeah, I've been
Kind of
there.
long.
Yeah.
That's what you talk about, like
Beautiful.
like I feel like Hunting Island's like you're going back in time.
Yeah.
Like I can picture like when they first hit the East Coast, like, oh, this is what it looked like.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
it's just that raw beauty. I love Hunting Island. Yeah, we go there.
That's another thing to be said for where we are, your location here.
Yeah, we're close.
You can go to all these different cool places. You know, Jacksonville's 2.5 hours away.
Which we go to.
Charleston's 2
Charleston
hours.
is
And
2.5 hours.
Charlotte's only
Charlotte's-
we go up
yeah.
there all the time.
Charlotte.
Love Charlotte.
Yeah.
Greenville.
Shoot
like,
up to Columbia,
Yeah.
Gamecocks game.
Yep. OH. Yeah.
Well, the Gamecocks, you know, I kind of root for them a little bit. You know, it's been a rough stretch, you know.
Don't worry about it.
All right. So, what advice would you give someone considering moving to Hilton Head?
Like, if they're weighing, like, oh, you know, I'm here versus Florida or whatever, like, you know, what would you say to somebody who's like, why would they want to be here? Like, why would they say this is the place?
I mean, I think it's more, to me personally, this, you know, can be different for everybody, but like, I'd rather, you know, figure out a way, it's gotta work for everybody, you know,
Right.
with your jobs and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
I'll make it work to be in a place that like I want my kids to grow up and have a lifestyle that I want to live rather than be in the position or work somewhere where I want to work, you know, and, you know, raise my kids in a place that's not the best place
Right.
to raise them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather live while I'm living, you know.
Oh,
Amen. I love
wow.
that.
So we're going to do this thing.
Bust my butt to, you know, live when I'm
Sorry.
older,
Yes.
you know, if that makes sense.
Live life now.
That's right.
Well, it's so funny because I had this thing I want to share you because the other day we had, Shembra. What did she say about your body's either, singing, making noise or making music, right? So I was like, you know what we need to do is every time we get one of those nuggets, we need to make a little sign and put it on the wall. I'd
I
rather
felt that energy.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah, you're right. Live while I'm living.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what this represents here, you know, and that flips too. You're talking about it from a perspective of family, but from somebody who is in their 60s, what I always try to encourage them is we get a lot of clients, right? They're like, oh, I only got a few years left. I'm like, I feel like this is a place that could re-energize you,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
And encourage you to
Absolutely.
live
And make you still give, hey, you got a lot of life to live if you,
Yeah.
you know.
if you choose to.
This is a place you can be well and healthy.
Yeah.
You think?
So, I mean, you can be as active as you want, but the thing is, when you're surrounded by beautiful weather and beautiful scenery, you're gonna go outside.
Yes.
You know. Also, we have world-class golf. We have amazing tennis.
Yeah.
There's a lot here.
Pickleball now.
Yeah.
Big pickleball.
And if you look at
And
our,
the biking,
and,
like,
I mean,
it's one of the most beautiful places to bike.
and it's incredible. You could do the 30-mile loop or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't even feel like you've done it. You know, you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, cool. I've been looking at all this stuff and I'm not even noticing how much I've been pedaling. It's great. I think, also if you look at our whole group here is a mix of retirees and young families.
Right.
Yes.
And I would say it's pretty close to 50-50 in my opinion.
Yeah.
That says a lot. I mean, it appeals to so many different people.
Yeah. That's what I love. I love like the baseball games when you see like your parents show up. I love seeing mix because you'll see somebody in their 80s and all the way down to young.
Well, that keeps you young too, I'm sure.
Yes.
You know, being surrounded by families and kids.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's a real energy. It's a real energy. So that's awesome.
Okay. And I got one more question. For
Uh-oh.
you.
All right, go ahead.
What are your hopes for the future of Hilton Head?
I tourism is great for business, and I appreciate it. I just hope that we don't get to a point where we're overrun and it's too much.
Changes the
It
dynamics.
changes it. I hope the town stays firm with preserving the natural wildlife here and all of that. I hope that never changes. I mean, it's really, it just, you just don't want it to turn into Myrtle Beach.
Well, it's interesting. So Myrtle, guess how many visitors they get on an annualized basis? Take a wild guess.
It's got to be more.
They get 21 million people a year
What?
that visit the Grand Strand. That's how many we get on an annualized basis.
Not even a quarter.
2.5
Two,
to
I'm
3.
gonna say two.
It's between 2
Okay.
and 3 million.
Wow.
So we have a long way to go.
Yeah,
Plus,
we do.
we're never going to have the towers. You go and look, and
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
appreciate
it's
it.
like they're tearing down everything, and they're going. How the one we stayed in? How many floors high was that?
Which
That Hilton.
was like 6.
Was it the Enclave?
It might, yeah,
Yeah, we went there too.
it might have been 60 floors,
57.
57.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You'll never see that here. And from a real estate perspective, it's interesting because out in Ridgeland and Hardyville, there's about 18,000 houses planned. So to me, it's between Richmond Hill, Effingham County.
Mhm.
That's where you're going to see
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
growth, if you will.
Allure, you've seen that.
Yeah.
Fuller, all that. So I feel like Hilton Head's kind of, hey, we're close, we're capped out. Like we are what we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like the future is going to be like, which is probably why the houses and the pricing is going up so much, right?
Mhm.
Because,
Yeah.
there's just never going to be like what you have. I mean,
Make more land to build on.
I don't
Right.
foresee them, I know Alan very, very well, but like even his predecessor, like I don't see that ever changing because it would lose what Hilton Head is. It wouldn't be Hilton Head,
that's right.
if you changed it.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody could.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what I'm hoping,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alan Perry, just for those who are listening, is the current mayor. Did Alan grow up on the island?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys know him growing up?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he's in mortgages, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. And his son is a surfer. He is a Christian, yeah.
That's cool.
Good kid.
Yeah.
Nice
I'd
kid. He's
love to
cool.
have Alan on. I may have to have you make an introduction because we would
Yeah.
love to have somebody on from the town to give some town perspective as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Because everybody, I think that's the one thing too. You get a lot of people from a lot of states, Northeast especially, and they're very strong, and they come down here, and that's what we always try to encourage them is like, you have to embrace, you have to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause everybody comes here
Yeah.
and wants to
Good
change
point,
the
yeah.
place, and I would love to get somebody from the town to come on and give that perspective and be like, guys, like we get it, but you have to understand what we're trying to protect.
This is who we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
and this is why you want to move here.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
This-
that's exactly why you want to be here.
So
Awesome.
What about you? What are your hopes for the future?
Like she said, I mean, same thing, just that it never changes from what it is. Like we can, redo some things and like revamp things, but don't change, what makes the island. But like I said, I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
What are some things you would say redo or revamp? So you were talking about some of that a little earlier.
I mean, nothing like in particular. I mean, obviously that, a lot of the infrastructure here has been here since the 70s and 80s. So like
Yeah.
it can use a little facelift, which I think they've done a really good job of, like Sea Pines is a great example. Like, Sea Pines is a little outdated, and they redid the whole resort, for the most part. So
And I feel like they've
I
done
think-
that with the island, from
yeah.
the new paths and the little fences they put up.
Mhm.
And Cross Island.
Yeah.
It looks so great.
It does.
I was going to say the
Absolutely.
baseball
Yeah.
fields, but I know they're doing that.
Yes.
Are we going to
We're
add
getting them.
fields?
Yep.
We are.
We are getting-
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
The
great.
new tennis facility that's
Well, hold on.
talking about. Oh, great.
Back up to baseball. So what are we getting on the baseball field?
I think it's starting at the end of this year. They're breaking ground. I think 2025 is when they hope to get it done.
What
Yeah,
are we
they're-
going to have?
They're adding 3 more fields, and I think they're adding 3 turf fields.
Oh,
Mhm.
So we'll have
So do you think we'll become like a destination for tournaments and stuff?
I don't know how the actual design of it's going to go. I think they are going to have like a college level size field, you know?
Oh, wow.
So I do think, yeah, I mean, I've always thought they've had potential, you know, to do
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
I've always pushed kind of for Barker. Like Barker's a great area. I think that could be a huge,
Oh,
that could use some revamping,
it sure could.
They would,
you know, because we,
The thing gets rid of the no museums over there somehow.
we haven't talked about
Yeah.
them.
So,
yeah, I think that's an area that probably could use some, you know, touch up.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful area too. It's right on the beach.
Oh, I
you
love
know,
it.
and also you can
We
take
take the
advantage
dogs
of
over
it.
there. I love that whole section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good spot. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. So that is coming for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. I love those trails back there, but,
Mhm.
you know, I think the highest and best use for it would be that. And I think it'd be cool if we, not that it become shipyard, but, you know, kind of similar, you know, with sports tourism, you know, because Rock Hill does that and they do very well with it. Although I've heard that sounds like we don't need any more tourists.
Yeah.
You know, so,
It would help local business.
yeah.
Absolutely.
It would. So it would help local.
Before we leave, I wanted to touch on this earlier. I want to get back into the boathouse.
Mhm.
Okay. Cause so many people know about Skull Creek. So many people know it's it's literally an iconic
It's iconic.
thing. So go back to your grandfather. Like, did he buy the land or did he,
Mhm.
what was the history of that? How does your family?
I know he took a lot of time to pick out the spot on the island that was going to be, you know, the best for like running boats in and out of, you know, and then adding a restaurant too. Obviously he wanted a really nice view. But that was important, and just like the structure of the building and all that, he took a lot of time and spent a lot of money getting the right, you know, materials and stuff for it because they came from Florida.
Oh, okay.
So they deal with hurricanes a lot, you know.
So he wanted a strong.
Yeah, so that was a big part of it too. But you know, more so just that location was like, you know, his favorite spot there. You know, I think they picked a good one.
Was Hudson's there already?
Yeah,
So
Hudson's was there. Yep.
Okay. But Hudson's and Benny Hudson, that's not the same.
No, there's yeah.
So, okay, that's a
Mhm.
totally different entity.
About restaurants.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So
Benny Hudson's has always been like a seafood house, like where you can go get like, you know, fresh fish and seafood and
That
stuff.
little market, right?
Market, yeah.
I love what they've done over
Yeah.
there, by the
Yeah.
way, with
Mhm.
Benny's and how they,
Beautiful.
oh
Yeah.
my
Yes.
gosh, that rooftop bar.
Yeah.
I mean, another great spot, right?
Yeah.
But, so growing up there, so that restaurant, is it the same footprint that he built it?
Yeah.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah, and I remember talking to, I think one of the surge group guys, they were asking me about the building because they wanted to expand it, and I don't think they can with like the building restrictions or something. They'd have to tear it all the way down. 'Cause
Oh.
they can't go up with it,
Right.
I think.
Is that what they want to do?
Yeah, and I remember, you know, it kind of bothered me because I was like, I know my grandfather's, you know, view of it was just, he didn't want it to be like just, you know, pumping money and getting all these people in here. He wanted a small, you know, small group kind of feel to it.
Yeah. I love that bar there.
Yeah.
That's just it feels
It's a
like
great
Cheers, like,
Yeah.
everybody know, you know, that's what it feels
Yeah,
like.
it's a special
Local
spot.
spot.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
cool. Is your grandfather still alive?
No, he's passed away.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wow. So it's what a cool heritage though.
Yeah.
I really just, you know, that's one of the things when I mean, because we practically live over there, you know, like that's where we bike to all the time, but watch that thing grow up and then how they've expanded it too.
Yeah, I think they've done a good job.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really neat. Yeah. So, awesome. Okay. Well, listen, yeah, do you have anything else, honey?
I think we've touched on a lot of great things. I really appreciate you guys coming.
That we
Very
do.
nice.
It was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. It was fun.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, we'll put your contact information and everything. And if anybody has any questions about the businesses or you know want to talk to them, you know, feel free to reach out to you guys. And hopefully you'll be back again as guests. And you know, we'd love to have you back, but we really appreciate it. And it's what a great perspective, don't you think?
Yes.
Thank you.
Guys.
Awesome.
was fun.
You guys have a good one.
Easy.
Thanks.